The frustration is starting to mount for the green and gold. With 22 games to play, the A's need wins, and more important, they need to get their offense back. There is no question the bats have been asleep for the past month, and if they want to have any shot at the postseason, things need to change quickly. In baseball, every game is a new day, and today is a fresh start. The Athletics need to take it one pitch, one at bat, and one game at a time. As fast as things can go bad, things can go well. The season is on the line. A's baseball starts right now. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon for baseball at the HOU Coliseum. The A's in need of a win. See if they can get it behind the lefty Scott Kazmir today, as it is game 2 of this 3-game series. It's the Houston Astros and it's the Oakland A's, and it's coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with Shooty Babbitt, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Scott Kazmir is a 14-game winner this year, but Shooty's coming off what was a very, very tough month of August, so he's glad the calendar has turned into September.
Yeah, Glenn, and I think that's the difference of Scott Kazmir right now. Just a little fatigue. What was so impressive about him early on was his command of his stuff. Once a power guy, now a guy with great touch and feel. Not trusting it right now. We'd like to see him be that guy he was when he first got here.
So Kazmir's going to have to get a couple of guys out if he wants to have any success today. Obviously, Chris Carter, but how about Jose Altuve? Terrific season, Shooty. I think if he was playing on a better team, he would be an MVP candidate.
You're talking about great for baseball. This is a young man that just does everything. A delight to his manager. He swings it, he catches it, he can throw it, he can make the athletic play. And boy, if you don't pay attention, he'll rip one off on you. Top 3 in the American League in stolen bases, and for a little guy, if you make a mistake, he'll shoot you up in the big seats. So Jose Altuve is one of the better players on the rise in the American League.
As you saw, 33 hits against the Athletics so far this year. So the Astros have won 5 in a row. The A's have lost 3 in a row. One of those streaks is going to come to an end this afternoon, as it's the A's and the Astros coming up here on Comcast Sportsnet, California. We'll have lineups and first pitch from the Coliseum when we come back.
is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, try Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
A's have taken the field, so first pitch just moments away between the Athletics and the Astros. Game time weather is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open on weekends. Gorgeous day, 69 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. So Saturday afternoon baseball from the Coliseum. Astros won last night, 4-3. A's will try to even up this series at a game apiece with a day game tomorrow, and then the A's will head off on a road trip to Chicago and Seattle. Let's look at the lineup for the Astros. Grossman will lead off. He's a switch hitter. Altuve, Fowler, Carter, Dominguez, Marisnik, Guzman, Corporate, and Villar. So some changes in the Astros lineup for today.
Well, taking him out for the A's today, 2014 All-Star Scott Kazmir, truly the best starter for the A's early on in the season, but has been struggling a little bit here lately and had probably his roughest start against the Anaheim Angels. But he's got the Astros in front of him today, and I look for Scott Kazmir to get this club off to a real good start by settling these Houston Astro hitters down.
Defensively for the A's, Fold, Crisp, and Reddick in the outfield. Donaldson, Lowry, Sogard, Moss on the infield with Norris doing the catching. So we are set with the A's trying to break a 3-game losing streak. They're 79-61, and they're 6 back in the AL West of the Angels. So we know the numbers. 6 back with 22 to play. A's are the #1 wild card team right now in the American League. So Robbie Grossman steps in, digs in, and we're set. Grossman, Altuve, and Fowler, the first 3 hitters for the Houston Astros. And Kazmir's first pitch is just a bit low.
First pitch, 107.
212 with 6 homers, 32 RBIs for Grossman, and 0 for 3 in last night's game. He's a switch hitter. Good pitch there on the outside corner. So Kazmir looking for his 15th win of the year. Back-to-back rough starts against the Angels. So he is trying to bounce back from a very tough month of August. And that one is hit just foul. So 1-2. Astros are 62-79, playing good baseball. They have won 5 in a row. They've won 7 out of their last 9. Doug Eddings calling balls and strikes today. Corey Blazer at first. Jim Joyce at second. Marvin Hudson is down at third. Changeup and a good pitch and a good take by Grossman. You often wonder, how does a guy take that pitch? So there's the tough month of August. The ERA close to 8. And a swing and a miss, and that's how the ball game starts. A strikeout of Grossman.
Time now for our Nissan keys to the game. Give Scott Kazmir some breathing room. Don't make every pitch feel like if he makes a mistake, it might be the deciding pitch of the game. And number 2, get the A's fans out of their seats. They've been sitting on the edges for the last couple of weeks. Give them something to get out of their seat.
I like that. I know exactly what you're talking about. They're ready to cheer. They just need something to cheer for. Here's Altuve, who brings a batting average of .341 in with 7 homers, 47 RBIs. Best batting average in all of baseball. One hit foul. Back and to the right.
Well, Glenn, you know, good pitching performances normally get you a golf clap. But when offenses explode, that's when the crowd gets excited. So offensively is what it's going to take to get these A's fans out of their seats.
Altuve reached for that one. Another foul ball. So the count 1-2. So a souvenir and keeping score as well. That's not easy to do.
Well, we got defense covered.
Scorecard, phone, baseball. All good. Another foul ball by Altuve. Altuve has 196 hits this year. The Astros franchise record is 210, set by Craig Biggio. So he's got a very good chance to get that. Pitch is a ball 2-2.
And you know, it's hard not to think about some of the great players that have played for the Astros. And when I see Altuve, it's not hard to think about Jim Wynn, the toy cannon. 5'9" with big man's power and a cannon for an home.
He had to try to hit it out of the Astrodome. It wasn't always easy. So Biggio on top. Tejada had 199 in 2009. Derek Bell 198 in 1998. Enos Cabell, good right-handed hitter.
Standing.
3-2 with Fowler in the on-deck circle.
When you get 200 hits, brother, you're raking. That's a lot of hits.
And Altuve doesn't walk a lot. He's only walked 31 times. He's only struck out 47 times. So he puts it in play. Swing and a miss, struck him out, down and in.
When you look at Kazmir, I think that's what made him so great early on, his ability to be unpredictable. Serving up a lot of fastballs on the outer part of the plate, taking off a little bit. Right there on Altuve, he cuts one in on him, a pitch that he hadn't seen in this game, let alone in that at bat.
So here's Fowler. He's a switch hitter, takes a strike. Fowler 274 with 8 home runs, 30 RBIs. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts last night. Chris Carter is the on-deck hitter. Astros had 4 runs on 7 hits last night and the 2 big home runs. Shallow right. Reddick comes in, reaches up, makes the catch. Side retired. Kazmir has a 3-up, 3-down. Top of the first inning. He's come to bat when we come back. Of the first inning. Let's check out their lineup. Coco Crisp is going to lead off. Look who's hitting second. Brandon Moss trying to get him going. Then Donaldson, Dunn, Norris, Reddick, Lowry, Fulp, and Sogar.
On the mound for the Houston Astros, big 6'7" right-hand pitcher Scott Feldman. Hails from Burlingame High School, where he was drafted and signed from the College of San Mateo. Brings in a record of 8-10. Doesn't strike out a lot of hitters, but he doesn't walk a lot either. So the A's are going to be active at the plate. It's just a matter if they can find some holes.
Defensively, the Astros have Grossman, Fowler, and Marisnik in the outfield. Dominguez, Villar, Altuve, Guzman on the infield. Corcoran is your catcher. Burlingame High School. I used to live right next to Burlingame High School.
Beautiful.
He probably walked right by my place when he was in high school.
Yeah. You get his autograph? Didn't even know it.
He was tall and skinny back then. Scott Feldman. He's a big fella. 6'7", 230 pounds, 31 years old. And his first pitch to Coco Crisp is outside.
Well, Glenn, you'll see a guy that's going to attack the bat. Doesn't throw very hard, doesn't throw anything straight. He'll live on the edges, he'll cut the ball in, but one thing that he tries to do is keep hitters off balance.
Missed again, 2-0. Feldman with the 3-year, $30 million contract this past offseason to come to the Astros. Altuve ranges to his left. He's got it. One. So here comes Moss. Hitting in the 2-hole.
Batting second.
Done it
Playing first.
3 times in his career, but not in the last couple of years.
Moss.
Well, Glenn, I really like Brandon Moss in the 2-hole.
Why is that?
For the simple fact that you're trying to get him going. You got him hitting behind Coco Crisp, and Coco can get on base. Perhaps you can get a fastball, make the pitcher make a mistake, and maybe you can hit something out of the ballpark.
So it's always a good spot to hit in if you're the guy in front of you. Coco Crisp in this case is a base stealer, and your third hitter is usually your best hitter. So that's where Moss is today. It's one high in the air toward left center. Fowler is there. He's got it. So Moss is retired, and that's 2 away for Donaldson.
When you look at Moss, I mean, the one thing that you always consider a little bit is that angle in his swing, because when you watch his back shoulder when it drops, that bat head has no choice but to go in an angular motion. And for Moss to have some success driving the ball into left center, he's going to have to find a way to get on top of that baseball, because if not, he's going to fly out to left field a lot, just like that. Exmo
brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. First pitch to Donaldson is outside. .253 with 26 home runs and 89 RBIs for Donaldson. Donaldson still among the league leaders. He's tied for 7th in the American League in runs scored. He's 8th in RBIs. He's 9th in home runs. He's 7th in the league in walks. So all over the leaderboard in the AL. This one's hit high in the air toward right field. Marisnik is right there. So an 8-pitch first inning for Scott Feldman, and we are scoreless after 1. No score, top of the second inning. The first pitch today was thrown out by Bob Ladouceur, of course, the former head football coach at De La Salle High School in Concord. They made a movie about his program. How about that? When the game stands tall, it's just out in movie theaters. I could check that out. So nice job by Bob. So I hope he gets to enjoy the game today. And what he did at De La Salle is almost untouched by anybody in the country.
He ran a tremendous program over there.
Yes, he did. I've seen a couple football games at De La Salle, and it's pretty fun. These guys run out there in those green and silver uniforms, and they look good when they run out of the locker room. That's a good start. And then when they play, it gets even better.
Well, a lot of times the other teams were beat before they even took the field.
Oh, there's no question about that. Two 2-0 to Chris Carter. So did you have a talk with Chris Carter today and tell him to knock it off?
You know, he had that little smirk on his face like he couldn't believe they were still pitching to him. And that's Chris Carter.
3 RBIs last night. He's got 3 homers and 7 RBIs in his last 3 games. Versus the A's this year, 7 home runs, 20 RBIs in 17 games that the two teams have played. He has played in 16 of those 17.
When you look at Chris Carter, I mean, just his ability to drive the ball out of any part of the yard, the rhythm and timing, and the strength and the extension of his swing. I mean, it wasn't a matter if that ball was going to go out. It was just a matter of how far.
And pitches low. Carter has a leadoff walk. So that'll bring up Matt Dominguez.
Batting in the 5th position, third baseman, number 30.
Angels will play a little bit later on. They're in Minnesota to take on the Twins. Roy Rasmus is going to pitch for the Angels, so they could be doing the bullpen game again. Rasmus started the game on Saturday against the A's, where he went 3 innings, and then Mike Scioscia used a bunch of relievers after that. Phil Hughes will pitch for the Twins.
What do they call that, Glenn? Johnny Holstaff?
Johnny, who's pitching tonight? Johnny Holstaff. Angels have won 8 out of 10. They're 85 and 55. So quick 0-2 to Dominguez with Jake Marisnick in the on-deck circle. Kazmir with a couple of strikeouts in the first inning. And that one hit up the middle. Lowry has it. He flips out at second, back to first, not quite in time. So the A's get the lead runner. Close play at first. Dominguez just beat it.
That was outstanding play all the way around. Kazmir got a piece of that probably slowed that ball down a little bit, allowing Lowry to move to his left a little bit, and Sogard makes a great play with his feet. I thought that was a little closer than what it was, but tremendous effort all around the diamond. Brandon Moss moves his feet very well at first base, gets in a position where he can make that play pretty close there, but Sogard, great job of turning a double play there.
And you saw Sogard actually going for the ball initially, and then he had to change course a little bit. He slipped a little bit, so maybe that's the reason why he was just a little late getting to the bag. So here's Marisnick. Bunts it. Kazmir grabs it. He'll throw to first and get the out there. So Dominguez at second base with 2 outs. Here's the updated standings in the West and in the wild card. A's the #1 wild card. Mariners are the second wild card. The Tigers just lost again. The Giants beat the Tigers 5-4 in Detroit. So the Tigers have lost the first 2 games of that series. They're now 1 game behind the Mariners for that second wild card spot. Indians and the Yankees hanging in there, but they're now 4.5 back, running out of time.
Well, just looking at those clubs, and you know that they're not very good, but they're still in the hunt. That just lets you know if the A's just start playing the way that they're capable of, they've got a chance to still do some damage.
Sogard scoops it up. Side retired. So runner stranded, bottom of the second coming up. The big fella, Adam Dunn's going to lead things off. No score.
Celebrate Oktoberfest with the A's on Saturday, September 20th versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Oktoberfest-style beers will be available throughout the ballpark, and 10,000 fans will receive an A's Oktoberfest Stein courtesy of Cash Creek Casino Resort. In addition, fan may purchase special tickets to attend a Brewmaster meet and greet that includes commemorative October ceramic Stein. For tickets, visit athletics.com/Oktoberfest.
Bottom of the second, Adam Dunn's going to lead it off. No score. Dunn, Norris, and Reddick against Scott Feldman, who had a 3-up, 3-down first inning. Dunn with the A's is 5 for 11 with a couple of home runs and 5 RBIs. And a strike on 2.
If you're the A's, you've got to like this matchup with Dunn, because one thing that Feldman does is throw an easy curveball, and sometimes that curveball that he threw for a strike, he will leave it up in the strike zone.
0-2 pitches, that big curveball that Feldman likes to throw, and he throws it a lot.
And you see Adam Dunn, he's kind of will show you that big softball swing at times. A guy that's able to stop the ball on the bat and just lift it up out of here.
Fastball just a bit high. The breakdown, lots of cutters, lots of curveballs. So more cutters than regular fastballs.
Well, I talked about it, Glenn. He doesn't throw anything straight, and even the fastballs that he throws at times appear to be cutters.
Big shift on for Dunn in the infield, not in the outfield, and he fouls straight back. Two is strike 3 call. Looked like it was a little hot. I think Adam Dunn thinks so as he chats with Doug Eddings.
Well, I guarantee you that's a problem that Adam Dunn faces a lot because he's such a big guy. The strike zone is so huge. Generally, that ball is up on most hitters, but as you look at it, as it crosses the plate, it's right on the borderline of the strike zone.
Call the strike, didn't have to be. How about that?
Ball on Altuve.
Yes. And you're not even going out on a limb there, shooter. First pitch strike to Norris. Norris hitting in the 5th spot, 273 with 10 home runs, 50 RBIs. Norris swings at the breaking ball, 75 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's that easy breaking ball that a lot of times he'll try to steal for a strike, or a lot of times he'll throw it short to try to get a chase, as he did with Norris.
Corcoran sets up way off the plate. Feldman hit the target, but it was outside. He's had 7 hits last night. All 7 were singles. And the big curveball, and Norris strikes out. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Scott Feldman, guy who has really good feel for pitching. When you have a breaking ball that you can throw for different speeds, and you can throw it in different locations of the strike zone, it really presents a tough challenge for the hitter because you can't look in one area for that particular pitch.
So Reddick steps in, hitting .249 with 10 home runs. You know, in last night's game, those 7 singles, Shooty, the A's had just 1 hit in the last 5 innings. They got their 3 runs in the same inning. So they were shut down the back end of the game, really from the middle of the game to the end.
It's kind of reverse of fortune because normally this is a club that changes the game once you get into the 5th and the 6th because of the strength of their bullpen.
And something that, well, they haven't been doing a lot of the last month. Since August, the pitching, the ERA is still decent, but averaging just 3.5 runs per game. Last 7 games, 16 runs total. Trying to figure out how to get the offense going. Reddick hits it hard under the glove of Altuve, and that should be a base hit. Altuve got there. It would have been a nice play, but a play that he's made before, I think.
Well, Reddick, a good low ball hitter, and this ball is really hit pretty hard. It has some top spin on it, and Altuve didn't anticipate the way that ball was going to skip after that 3rd bounce, and that's why it got by him as quickly as it did, because the young man has real good range, but that ball was hit a lot better than what Altuve thought it was.
So that's the first hit by either team this afternoon. Here's Lowry. Lowry lofts one down the left field line. Just shy of the A's bullpen. Lowry .239 with 5 home runs, 42 RBI. It was 1 for 4 last night. Strike on the outside corner. Lowry doesn't agree.
But one thing that Lowry's going to have to remember, Scott Feldman is a veteran and he has a reputation with the umpires. If the catcher sets up out there and he hits the glove, he's going to get that call.
A 1-2 to Lowry. It's the 5th game back for Lowry after the stint on the disabled list. straight back.
When you're an offense and you're struggling a little bit, face a guy like Feldman, a pitcher who somewhat messes with a hitter's head. These are the toughest guys for your offense to get out of a rut because they just don't make it easy for you.
Soft tossers, right?
Absolutely. And just when you think that they're going to try to amp up and throw a little harder, what they'll do instead is take some off and throw a little softer just to get you out in front on that front foot a little bit to create some soft contact.
Hit past Mike Gallego, foul again.
We watched Oberholzer last night attack the A's in a way that we saw some A's hitters walking away talking to themselves, just not believing that that guy was good enough to get them out. Feldman has that same type of stuff.
Oberholzer, just one run allowed. Another soft tosser.
You look at that line, 1 strikeout, 2 walks. Nothing very impressive there, but if you look at those later innings, I mean, not many pitches in each inning. I mean, 60 pitches in the first few innings.
That one bounced over the mound, and the shortstop VR has it, flips it softly to first. Side retired, hitting a runner left, and we're moving to the third. No score. Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Roaring Camp Railroads. Whether it's a steam train through the Redwoods or a beach train to Santa Cruz, Roaring Camp is the ride of a lifetime. Top of the third inning, the Astros and the A's scoreless. 18th matchup of the year between these two teams. A's have a 10-7 season record against the Astros. These are 32-29 against the West. This one's lofted toward the right fielder Reddick, and Corcoran is retired.
Glenn, you talked about how when De La Salle played, teams were intimidated and basically had lost the game prior to the game even being played. One thing that the A's have faced in the second half of the season is that the reputation that preceded them, being the best team in baseball, the run differential, and all the accolades that they had been receiving. So every game that they play, every team is motivated, has a little extra in them to want to beat the A's. And This is where you get a chance to see what you're made of.
First pitch to Jonathan Villar, switch inning shortstop. At the All-Star break, the A's were 59-36. Had a game and a half lead. Since then, they're 20-25.
During the course of a 162-game season, there are so many adjustments. Teams get so many ways to go about finding out how you've been successful. Then the game is on.
And a big swing and a miss by Villar.
That was I'm sorry, that was a signature pitch for Kazmir early on, Glenn. I mean, that changeup right there was that plus pitch that basically was unhittable for him. And you asked me, what was the difference of him now opposed to early on? And that might be one of them. Yeah.
Like that?
Like that.
That's the changeup he threw a lot at the beginning of the year, really the first 4 months of the season. It's his third strikeout.
Such great feel and the ability to trust the pitch. I mean, to serve a fastball, if you will, at 82 miles an hour up at a hitter, and to believe that you can get him off balance, it takes a tremendous amount of trust to do that.
Top of the order, Grossman, who struck out swinging in the first inning. Tries to bunt, pops it foul right up over the screen and into the seats. Fastballs over the middle. So since August, the location has not been there with the fastball. Not surprised that, looking at that he had a tough August.
Well, you always talk about establishing fastball command to make your secondary stuff work. And for his changeup, the signature pitch, to be as good as it is, you definitely need fastball command.
Fouled again. So Kazmir trying to forget about that month of August. You have a good stretch run. Figure Shooty with 21 games left after today. Really not a whole lot of off days for the A's. So you figure he'll probably get 4 more starts. Guesstimate. There's the changeup that Grossman lays off.
Well, generally, if you get 15 wins out of your number 2 starter, I mean, you cannot ask for any more than that. So it's pretty hard to criticize the struggles of Scott Kazmir here of late. But you're normally judged by the body of work. Just unfortunately, right now, everything is so magnified.
Strike 3 call. So a couple of strikeouts for Scott Kazmir in the third. He's got 4 in the game, and we're headed to the bottom of the third, 0-0. on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Golden Gate University. Finish your bachelor's degree online or on campus. Golden Gate University. Make it your comeback year. No score on a beautiful day. Bottom of the third inning. Decent crowd this afternoon here at the Coliseum. This will send up Fold, Sogard, and Coco Crisp. Scott Feldman so far has given up just one single. He's got a couple of strikeouts. Feldman coming off one of the best starts of his career. A 3-hit shutout against the Texas Rangers. 2-0. The start before that was a start against the Athletics when he gave up 3 earned runs in 7 innings. So he's been pitching well. 4 wins in the month of August.
Well, you know, when a guy plays or pitches against his former team, I don't care what the politically correct answer is. There's always a little extra motivation to do well against your former club. And Texas Rangers are not the same club that they were, but it didn't matter to Scott Feldman.
So 1-2 to Fold. Fastball runs high. Fold bounces one. VR has to go to his right, loses his balance, and Fold is aboard. He just stumbled forward.
When you're looking at an infielder's feet, you're always talking about his clock. Speed played a huge factor here. VR never got his feet in place because he knew how well that Sam Fold gets down the line, and the angle in which he went after that ground ball caused his feet to get confused and mixed up. Therefore, he couldn't get around that baseball and get his glove out front and field that ball out in front of him. They used to say that ball kind of ate him up a little bit.
I think you're right. Sogard watches that one drop outside. Sogard hitting .220 with a homer and 19 RBIs. Off speed for a strike. Dominguez in on the grass at third. Outfield very shallow for Sogard.
You look where Dominguez is playing Sogard does such a tremendous job of hitting the ball the other way. I mean, they're really exposing that side of the infield. The way that Feldman is attacking Sogard, it's going to make it easy for him to serve the ball that way.
Dominguez actually slides over to his left just a little bit. First strike, 2-2 the count to Sogard. Wow.
Well, we definitely have a high strike zone today. I thought the 1-2 done was borderline. I thought that was a little bit above the borderline.
That one is fair past Dominguez. So Sogard slaps one the other way for a base hit. 2 on, nobody out here in the third.
Glenn, you call that playing the game. Sogard understanding his strength as a hitter, allowing the ball to get deep, serving the curveball right to left field. I thought that the Astros were gambling a little bit by exposing that hole as much as they did there, because Sogard, one of his strengths is utilizing his ability to manipulate the bat head throughout the zone, and that's basically routine for him to be able to do something like that.
So action for the A's here in the third as Coco Crisp steps in. Again, the corner infielders come in. Coco bunts it, and it's bunted nicely. Guzman throws, and everybody's safe. Guzman kind of threw it off balance, and he pulled Altuve off the bag.
I love the play in which Coco Crisp probably took upon himself to do. Not only is he so quick, but he executes a great bunt here. And when you do that, it only puts the pressure on the defense. Execution for defense and bunt plays, if everyone is not in the right place or does not field the ball perfectly, there's always confusion and there's always potential for a disaster. Right here, that ball could have been thrown down the first base line and all type of things could have happened there. But Coco Crisp, not only does he do a great job of making sure that he sacrifices, but he also gets himself a hit.
So here's Moss. Base is loaded, nobody out. This pitch is inside. So an infield hit, a base hit the other way, and a bunt hit. It's in the air to left. Grossman has it. He's got it. Here comes Sam Ford. The throw to the plate is late. And the A's have a 1-0 lead on Moss's sacrifice fly. So Moss gets RBI number 78.
Well, Glenn, Moss is a perfect guy in that situation, because one thing that he has been doing is hitting a lot of fly balls, and the one thing that you didn't want to see him do is hit a ground ball. Grossman does a great job of getting back on that fly ball, but the speed of Sam Ford at third base, he has no chance at all. I mean, that was potential to allow another guy to move up there because of him missing the cutoff man there.
So here's Donaldson. Sogard at second, Crisp at first. It's amazing, Shooty, how one play changes the whole inning. VR can't make what was a fairly routine play. So the runner's on first. Dominguez has to play in. If he's playing his normal spot, he fields Sogard's ground ball. Right? Coco isn't going to bunt if there's nobody on base. So one mistake by the Astros kind of got this whole inning rolling. Dominguez has it out at second, out at first, and that's a double play. Going down hard was Coco Crisp, who's getting up very slowly at second base. Let's hope he's okay. So the A's get a run on Moss's sacrifice fly, 1-0 after 3. Our AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to CSNCA fan photo. Put your name and your hometown down for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Today's fan photo comes from Kelly Lacey from Citrus Heights. That's Kevin and Kelly at the A's game. Thanks for the photo. 1-0, the A's lead. It's the top of the fourth inning. So Scott Kazmir a single run to work with. Altuve drives him toward right center. Coco came in. Now he's got to get back. So 1 out.
What a difference a few hours make.
Now
how the ball travels here at the Coliseum at night and in the
Dexter
daytime. I mean,
Fowler.
what typically is a routine fly ball, that ball had some carry to it.
So here's Dexter Fowler. Fowler hit a fly ball to right field in the first. And he's 0 for 5 in this series. Fowler's a switch hitter coming over from the Colorado Rockies in the offseason trade. Gave up Brandon Barnes and Jordan Lyles. Lyles, right-handed pitcher, young guy. Brandon Barnes, outfielder. I think the Rockies had all those young outfielders that they wanted to play. Blackman and Dickerson, and they're all doing a pretty good job. So Fowler was expendable. 1-2 with Carter in the on-deck circle. So the count now even at 2-2. Low pitch count early on for Kazmir, just 43. And now full count.
Well, one thing that you can notice about Scott Kazmir is really methodical right now. And he's paying very close attention to every pitch that he throws. So
that's a good way to put it. I like that shooting. I like that. Paying very close attention to each pitch he throws.
Well, Glenn, when you have an offense that's struggling, I mean, it would have been great to see the A's break it open somewhat in that last inning when he had the bases loaded. But now Scott Kazmir goes out there with the same feeling that, hey, I just cannot make a mistake. I've got my 1-run lead, but I know how things have been going. And he can't help that. That's in the back of his mind.
3-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out with a fastball. That's 5 strikeouts for Kazmir.
Even with the zone being as wide as it is, that only allows Scott Kazmir to work down in the zone, which he does such a great job of doing. He elevated his fastball to Dexter Fowler, but set him up with a fastball down that he just couldn't reach.
So Carter steps in. Swing and a miss by Carter, who walked in the second inning.
There are some pitches that are good fastballs. Those are what you call brave fastballs.
Nelson Cruz has 37 home runs. That's the most in the American League, and Carter with 36. Giancarlo Stanton also has 36 over in the National League. Lowry has it, flips it across in time, and that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Scott Kazmir. Bottom of the fourth coming up. It's 1-0, the A's lead. Special guest today, Comcast Corporation Executive Vice President David Cohen is here. He's enjoying the ball game. He's in town for the Comcast Tech Youth Summit being held in San Jose on Tuesday. He's joined there by Linda Seifert, the Solano County Supervisor, and Osby Davis, the Mayor of Vallejo. With the Comcast Tech Youth Summit, brings students together with technology, education, and government leaders to address the critical role technology plays in education. 49ers CEO Jed York and U.S. Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren will also be those participating on Tuesday. So great event, and we say to Mr. David Cohen, bring the A's some good luck today. So far, 1-0 lead.
Absolutely.
We'll give him credit for that.
And there's some very influential people in that box.
But can they get us some runs?
Well, they got us one.
All right. Well, we indeed hope that those folks enjoy the game today. Altuve out on the warning track, grabs the ground ball. So Adam Dunn hits into the shift. Altuve grabs it. He was out there somewhere.
Oh my goodness. You know, I mean, anytime, any day, normally that's a base hit through the hole, but because of defensive metrics and a new positioning of infielders, it's been a lot of hits taken away from guys.
So one away for Norris. Norris struck out swinging in the second inning. He got a sacrifice fly from Moss for the run in this game. Reddick to follow here in the bottom of the fourth inning. And a quick 0-2.
When you look at Norris, and just lets you know how valuable he is to this club. I mean, 4 catchers over there. Day game after night game, Derek Norris is right back behind the plate. Banged up a little bit over there. Iron Man.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. A quick at bat for Norris. He spins around, heads back to the dugout.
We saw some margin with the ability to swing the fastball back. Feldman's also able to backdoor that pitch a little bit. You notice Norris is a little bit off the plate there. Therefore, that ball, when it starts out, it looks even farther away from him. But Feldman showing the ability to be able to swing it back those last 3 inches and still a strike.
Now Feldman looking for what would be his second 3-up, 3-down inning. He also retired the A's in order in the first. Reddick had a base hit in the second inning. Reddick, the average sitting at 252. That one's driven to right, but hangs up for Marisnik. So an 8-pitch inning for Feldman. He gets the 3-up, 3-down inning, and we're on to the 5th. It'll be Dominguez, Marisnik, Guzman, 1-0 A's. 1-0. The A's lead the Astros. It's the 5th inning. Astros don't have a hit yet. Carter had a leadoff walk in the 2nd, and the next batter was Dominguez, and he hit into a fielder's choice. Those are the only 2 base runners for the Astros so far, as Dominguez leads it off. So 5th inning. Astros looking for their 6th consecutive win. The A's are looking to break a 3-game losing streak. Good pitch there, called strike, 0-2.
Well, talked about Kazmir being methodical, but he's been very efficient. 51 pitches into the 5th inning. True strike thrower.
Both pitchers pretty sharp so far. 5 strikeouts for Kazmir. Marisnik to follow, and then Guzman. 3 right-handed hitters against Kazmir. The whole lineup is right-handed hitters. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Strikeout number 6. 1-1. Time now for the Ford right choice. On this date in 1995, Cal Ripken Jr. plays in his 2,131st consecutive Major League game. That surpasses Lou Gehrig's 56-year record. The game became official in the middle of the 5th inning. Ripken took a victory lap around Camden Yards. A 22-minute standing ovation from the great crowd in Baltimore. Hit a home run in that game, no surprise. And the Orioles won 4-2. 22-minute standing ovation. That's pretty awesome. So 1995.
He shook more hands in that one game than he probably has in his whole entire life.
No question.
And it looked like he wanted to make sure he did not miss one person.
It was a good lap, that's for sure.
And that's the type of guy that Cal Ripken was as a player.
Cal Ripken probably likes what his old team is doing. Well, they lost today, did the Orioles, but they have the big lead in the AL East, and it certainly looks like they're headed to the postseason. 19-time All-Star, won an MVP in 1983 and then again in 1991. 431 career home runs. So his rookie year, 1983, he won the MVP. It was his rookie year, and then they won the World Series. Maybe it wasn't his rookie year.
98% vote for the Hall of Fame. The other 2%, what was the reason?
Yeah, I want to talk to those guys. I really do want to talk to those guys. Nice play by that fan right above the A's bullpen, protecting the relievers. It's a good play. Check it out, Shooty. Break this one down, Shooty.
Well, you've got guys down here to making sure that they're taking care of the ladies down there, and I would like to see the lady in the green T-shirt. Man, she's got a pretty good-looking glove in her hand.
Yeah, and she was happy for the protection. Good pitch, fastball on the outside corner. Strike 3 looking. 7 strikeouts for Kazmir.
You got to love the way that Kazmir came back after falling behind in the count here. I talked about him being a strike thrower. Early on, it had been known that the strike outside was being called, and Kazmir has done a tremendous job of attacking the outside part of the plate.
So with 2 outs, Jesus Guzman steps in. And Guzman rips one towards center. Coco with a good jump, drops it down. So rolling along is Scott Kazmir. He's retired 11 in a row. 1-0 A's as we go to the bottom of the 5th.
when the A's play host to the Angels for the final 3 regular season home games of the 2014 season. On September 22nd through September 24th, the A's and the Angels will square off in a 3-game set with the postseason implications on the line. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/tickets or go by calling 510-638-GO A's, in which guarantees to be a great series.
Those Angels guys.
Those dirty Angel guys down here in Anaheim.
Good team.
They're playing great baseball right now.
Lowry, Fold, and Sogard, bottom 3. It's Feldman. First pitch is a strike. Lowry didn't like that call.
That could be a great finish to the season, Brad.
Will then head to Texas and wrap up the season on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Rangers. And Lowry's going to go for a walk. He's not happy with either of the first 2 calls.
Well, no need to act surprised now. It's been established early on that pitches up there are going to be called for strikes, but that's just Lowry, and that's why I love him as a player, because he's gritty and he wears his emotions on his sleeves.
And Lowry swings and misses, and on 3 pitches, Lowry's retired. 4th strikeout for Scott Feldman. Hey, we got in-depth coverage Sunday to Sunday, plus the official post-game show of the team is Raiders post-game live Sunday to Sunday. The authentic home of the Raiders is Comcast Sportsnet. First Sunday of NFL Sunday. The NFL season, I should say, is tomorrow. So a big day in the sports world.
The Packers 0-1, huh?
Not good.
I didn't mean to mention that.
That was a butt whooping. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Raiders will be in New York to play the Jets. 49ers will be in Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Sam Foltz singled and scored in the 3rd inning. His single, ground ball to VR, and VR had to move to his right. He lost his balance and fell. And Fold was saved, credited with a hit.
Well, Glenn, that's what speed does. It makes everybody on the field play differently. There's now a sense of awareness of where this guy in the box is.
Grossman, who's playing very shallow, grabs it. So Fold is retired. Astros outfielders played pretty shallow, especially for the non-power guys, which you would think everybody would do that. It's the right thing to do.
Well, you got to make them hit it over your head. A lot of times, you know, these guys are slashers, and they make a living of dumping them and slashing them, filleting them down the line. So you try to take those hits away as an outfielder.
Sogard takes a strike. Rangers and the Mariners will play tonight in Seattle. Martinez for Texas and Chris Young for the Mariners. Young, 12-7 record. Dominguez grabs it, playing inside, retired. So that is 8 in a row retired by Scott Feldman. So we're on to the 6th, still 1-0 A's. Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Prism. Now your team can collaborate at a whole new level with video walls from Prism. Learn how at prism.com. Beautiful look at Jack London Square here at the Coliseum. 1-0 A's lead. Scott Kazmir has not allowed a hit through 5 innings. He's got 7 strikeouts. Look at the numbers in the previous 2 starts. 13 runs in 4 1/3 innings. Left field. Fold coming in. Not going to be able to get it. And there's your first hit. It's a single by Carlos Corcoran, the 8th place hitter. So a nice little applause for Kazmir. 5 no-hit innings to start the game.
Oh, Kazmir makes a pretty good pitch here with this cutter in on Corcoran's hand. He just does a pretty good job of pulling his hands inside and fighting. And he really doesn't get in on the fat part of the bat, but he's strong enough to muscle it out into left field.
So here's Jonathan Villar, the switch-hitting shortstop. Astros with 2 switch-hitting shortstops, Villar and Marwin Gonzalez. Villar struck out in the 3rd, shows bunt, and bunts it toward 3rd. Donaldson picks it up, and he doesn't have a play. If he had to do it again, he would probably leave it alone and see if it trickles foul.
Without a doubt, a little miscommunication here. Donaldson appeared to hesitate here, and after he didn't get a real good jump on this ball, you can see the spin on it. It looked like it was starting to curl a little bit out of bounds, or should I say foul. And Donaldson, like you said, Glenn, he probably should have let this one go here, but that play didn't start out from the beginning right. If you watch Donaldson, he hesitates, he stops, and then he decides to go after it. It was as if he thought that Kazmir was going to make a play on that ball, but it absolutely was on his way going foul.
Well, now, see if the Astros bunt again with Robbie Grossman with Altuve to follow. Bunted nicely, and another good bunt. Donaldson has to hurry, and he throws, and they got him at first. Very close play at first. Grossman hanging around for a little bit over there.
One of the criteria for being able to play third base is you need arm strength. Josh Donaldson does a great job of charging on this ball, but he makes a strong throw off the opposite foot here, and that's what allows him to get the runner at first base, to throw the ball off balance, to have the flickability, if you will. One of Josh Donaldson's finest traits as a third baseman, the arm strength that he brings.
He needed it there.
And give Moss a lot of credit, Glenn, for hanging in there, because that ball started tailing in on the run.
So here's Altuve, and that one is fair. Down the third base line, and 2 runs are going to score, and Altuve's going to have a double. How about that? Just fair inside the bag, and the Astros lead 2-1.
Well, anytime you want to draw it up as an offense, you want the guys in front to get on base so your number 3 guy can drive them in. And Altuve has shown over and over his ability to handle the ball up in the strike zone here. Twist on a fastball up and in. And wow, the little guy has such quick hands. And to be able to get around that ball and keep it fair is pretty impressive. And that's just inside the foul line.
So double number 40 for Jose Altuve. And that's a big one. So the Astros have the lead. Quick meeting Scott Kazmir. Kurt Young tries
now batting,
and now Dexter Fowler hits.
Dexter Fowler.
Interesting shooting. How the talk a lot is about executing a bunt from a hitter standpoint, but I think it's just as important, and maybe even more important. Coco goes back. Altuve's going to tag, and he's going to try for third, and he'll make it. Altuve with a big turn, stops, but executing defensively on a bunt play, and we've seen it in this game. The Astros couldn't do it early, help the A's get a run. The A's do not execute a defensive play on a bunt in this inning. It helps the Astros get a run.
Well, Glenn, I say it time and time again, and I know everybody has their own opinion, but I just know how valuable it is to make the defense execute. And if you put that ball on the ground and you get people moving, it is so important for people to be able to make the perfect play, to be in the right place, and that's a tough thing to do. And when you bunt in situations like that, you put the pressure on the defense.
So we've seen it twice in this game, once by each team. So Carter's going to be intentionally walked with Matt Dominguez, the on-deck hitter. So it'll be first and third, 2 outs.
And Glenn, you know, I played in the middle of the diamond, and I played the small game because I was a guy, that was my game. I had to bunt, I had to hit and run, I had to make contact. But being a second baseman, I know how much chaos was out there in the middle of the diamond, because most pitchers in general are not real good fielders of their position. And when you have guys on the corners, the first basemen and third basemen that are typically sluggers, they don't move very well on their feet either. So when you get everybody moving, there's a lot of chaos out there. And if everybody's not on point, sometimes bad things happen.
Good call. So a key point in this game, Dominguez steps in. He's reached on a fielder's choice, and he is struck out. 3 hits in the inning. Altuve coming down the line a long ways. This pitch is fouled right at home plate.
Well, Glenn, the reason why Altuve is able to come so far down the line, when you have a left-handed pitcher and there's a guy on first base and he has to pitch out of the stretch, his back is turned to that runner at third base, and that what allows him to get so much, because what he's looking for is anything in the dirt. And not only is Altuve a premier base stealer in this league, he's an exceptional base runner. And what you're doing now is you're reading ball in dirt. And the Astros understand how tough it is to get runs against Kazmir, so that doesn't surprise me to see him as aggressive as he is down there.
Yeah, he is a bit of a risk taker on the bases, but most of the time that's what makes him so dangerous.
Can't be scared.
In the dirt, swing and a miss by Dominguez. Almost looks like Dominguez is not seeing Kazmir real well. He's swinging at a lot of pitches out of the strike zone.
Well, last night he had 2 strikeouts, and he seemed to be fooled a lot last night. So the A's definitely have a pretty good plan as far as pitching Dominguez, because he appears to be guessing wrong most of the time thus far.
Altuve at third, Carter at first. And there's a liner, but it's just foul. So maybe not the 0-2 pitch that Kazmir wanted to make. Dominguez got pretty good wood on it. On the right side with Sogard shifted over towards second base. Moss over Carter, pitches inside. Carter takes off, kind of a delayed steal, and he'll make it.
Well, you've got 2 strikes, and you're in a situation where Kazmir probably will waste one. And Tom Lawless, understanding that he has a guy at third base in Altuve that pretty much has the play set up in case the A's did offer to throw down at Chris Carter, they probably would have tried to steal home.
So now 2 runners in scoring position for Dominguez. Strike through call. Dominguez strikes out for the second time, but a couple of runs for the Astros. Jose Altuve with a 2-run double. So the Astros lead 2-1.
Man is gone.
AT&T U-verse rewind. Well, the A's getting it done the way that they need to. Taking advantage of a misplay by the Astros, getting them on. Coco Chris doing a great job of making sure that he gets him over. And not only that, he's awarded with a base hit. And Brandon Moss doing what's necessary in a situation like that. Looking for a pitch that's elevated where he can get it up in the air and get a sacrifice fly. Scott Kazmir giving the A's everything that they need, but the Astros feel that turnabout is fair play. They're going to put the pressure on the A's and make them feel defensively. Altuve making a strong stance as being considered MVP in the American League, coming through with a big-time hit for the Astros, and that is your AT&T U-verse rewind.
Top of the order for the A's, now trailing 2-1, bottom of the 6th inning. We'll see how Scott Feldman pitches with a lead. Coco with a ground out and a single. His single was the bunt side. Feldman shut down opportunity, 69%, a little bit below the league average. Today he's retired 8 consecutive A's hitters. Bunted again, but this one's foul.
Glenn, I talked about Kazmir coming out making a statement today as a starter. I think this is a perfect time for the A's offense to make a statement.
Answer back.
Absolutely. Respond. Scott Kazmir thus far has given them a tremendous outing. Made one bad pitch to a pretty good hitter, but the A's got to keep the pressure on right now. Reward him with his effort. Come back and get 2 of their own.
Moss to follow, and then Donaldson. Coco, line drive, center field, a base hit.
Even if you aren't an A's season ticket holder, you can still get 2014 postseason rights. Just place a deposit on a 2015 ticket plan and secure your place in line for 2014 postseason tickets. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or go to athletics.com/deposit.
So leadoff man aboard for the Athletics, and here's Moss. Coco thought about going. Foul straight back. Coco stole the base last night. It was his first steal in 31 games. He's been a little bit banged up.
Yeah, truly important element missing to their offense.
That steal last night was the 17th of the year for Coco. Last year he stole 21, but he had 22 home runs last year. He was in 2020.
2020.
Long look by Feldman. And the pitch is hot. Moss with a fly ball to center and a sacrifice fly. Picking up his 78th RBI.
Well, just like a hitter, rhythm and timing is so important. The same applies for a base stealer. He has to feel comfortable over there, and when he does, look out.
Coco runs, swing and a miss, throw to second base is light. Coco has a stolen base, so he is now in scoring position with nobody out.
Great jump by Coco there. It's quite obvious that he definitely has picked up something with Feldman's delivery, because he got a tremendous jump there, and there was nothing they could do. Brandon Moss makes an effort to hit the ball through the hole there. Doesn't make contact, but probably was a great thing.
Well, Ricky says he's safe, and he's definitely safe. So 1-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out with the big curveball, and he's needed a productive out there. They did not get it.
Well, Feldman has shown all game long that what he's going to go to when he has 2 strikes to get hitters out is the chase curveball. Very appetizing, starts out in the zone, but Brandon Moss just has a very difficult time right now, because once he unleashes, it's pretty hard for him to hold up.
Interesting note there. Most stolen bases allowed in the majors. Keep an eye on Coco Crisp at second. Altuve knows it. In fact, he's playing very close to second base for Donaldson. Donaldson takes inside.
Glenn, generally, when you have a pitcher like that, with a success rate is so high for base stealers, the problem with the pitcher is he just doesn't feel comfortable throwing back there, or even to first base. It's not so much that he has a bad or a good move, he just don't feel comfortable making the throw to the bases.
Inside again, 2-0. Adam Dunn is the on-deck hitter. A's with 5 hits in the game, the Astros with 3. On the ground, right to the shortstop. VR flips it across, throws wide, and Guzman missed the tag. He still hasn't tagged Donaldson, so he'll step on first. Retired. Good try by Donaldson. He did everything he could to try to get to first base. And the initial tag was missed by Guzman, and Donaldson tried to get to the bag. He just could not quite get there.
Yeah, well, Josh Donaldson understands where we are in the game right here. Once he sees the first baseman come off the bag here and tries to lose the tag by going outside of the line here, typically that far off the bag, the first baseman won't miss the tag. The umpire did a great job early on to let them know that he did miss the tag, allowing Donaldson to continue to play to try to get back to the bag. But give Guzman a lot of credit for staying with the tag. Just like a play at second base on a steal, when a guy slides beyond the bag, you're taught to stay with it. That doesn't happen many times at first base. So for Guzman, a guy who's played multiple positions, now Coco doesn't know, well, I've got to, is he going to hit? Well, I better just stay here, because one thing I don't want to do is get thrown out at third base.
So here's Dunn. He's needed 2-out hit. Dunn takes a bit high.
When we talk about the stolen base rate against Feldman, you look at the A's John Lester. Here's a guy that may not have a good move. We don't know. It's been like 20 years since he's thrown over to first base, and guys still don't steal off him. So it tells you how great a job he does as far as disrupting the rhythm of a base steal.
Missed outside, 2-0. Norris is the on-deck hitter, so Feldman may be working Dunn carefully. Big shift on for Dunn on the infield. Outfield fairly straight away. He shifted just slightly toward left center. Coco's going to run, and the Astros will let him have third, and there's nobody there to take a throw anyway.
Wow, big Adam Dunn shows you what he can do with a ball that's on the inner half of the plate, and Scott Feldman is very well aware of that, and you can tell that he's trying to stay away from Dunn's power, which is anywhere that he gets his bat on. But boy, if you come inside, it's extreme power in there.
Inside, 3-1.
And when you miss, that's where you have to miss.
Coco takes third. So he will get a stolen base on that. So a couple of steals for Coco in this inning. So now he's at third. The count is 3-1 to Dunn. That will go high and foul left field.
A lot of people say, why would Coco Crisp take third base there where he's going to score on a base hit no matter if he's at second base or not? Now that he's at third base, that changes the whole dynamic in which Feldman is able to attack Adam Dunn. We talked about Altuve being a great base runner. Coco Chris is among the top in the American League. Scott Feldman's going to that curveball in the dirt. Now, does he have the same trust in that pitch, knowing that a man is at third base? That kind of takes a pitch away.
Plus, he can go halfway down the line if he wanted to. 3-2 pitch is driven in the air to left center. Fowler shading his eyes. He's got it. Side retired. So he's had a runner at second. Could not get him home. 7th inning coming up. Astros 2, A's 1.
And the Sox Hall of Fame race featuring A's Hall of Famers.
August 19th of this year, Chris Carter, who had struck out in each of his first 4 plate appearances, it's a tie-breaking 3-run homer against the Yankees in the 9th inning. It was at Yankee Stadium. The Astros would win the game 7-4. No player had hit a go-ahead home run in the 9th inning or later after having previously struck out in 4 or more times in a game since the Blue Jays' Alex Gonzalez did it May 1st, 2001 in Oakland. Strike out 4 times and then hit a tie-breaking 3-run homer. You get to do it at Yankee Stadium. I can see Chris Carter doing that, striking out 4 times and then hitting a big 3-run homer.
You know, that brings me to mind of the great Dave Kingman. Strike out or hit him a long way.
Yep. Dave Kingman played with the A's and the Giants, so you probably got to see him growing up, right?
Absolutely, and he was a big man.
Dave Kingman. I remember watching Kingman with the Cubs growing up in the Midwest. People on the street were not safe outside the Wrigley Field in left field because he would just blow right past those bleachers with his home runs. Two and 1 to Marisnick. Now 3-1 to Marisnick. A couple of finals in the American League. Tampa Bay beat Baltimore 3-2. Scored the walk-off run on a pass ball. Tampa Bay not going to make the postseason this year. And it's a leadoff walk for Jake Marisnick. So that's walk number 3 for Kazmi. As we mentioned earlier, Giants beat the Tigers again 5-4 to help out the A's cause in that wild card a little bit. Bumgarner won his 17th game. He is tied with Kershaw for the most wins in all of baseball. See what Posey's doing? He's hitting .508 in his last 15 games. Pretty like leading the charge.
Pretty good play.
Nice resume. Runner goes. Throw to second base. Not quite in time. Marisnick with the stolen base on a close play at second.
pretty well executed on both sides. Marisnick doesn't get a great jump, but he has great first step quickness and gets down right underneath the tag. Had it not somewhat tailed into the runner there, it might have allowed the ball get there a little quickly, give Sogard a better chance of getting a quicker tag down on Marisnick, but he slides in just underneath the tag.
So now the runner's at second, nobody out. Guzman, the hitter, Corcoran, the switch hitter, will be next. Yankees leading the Royals 4-1 in the 5th inning in New York. Royals now with that Tigers loss have a 2.5 game lead in the Central. It's amazing though, Shooty, rolling along. Kansas City's playing great. Today they start Danny Duffy, who's a very, very good young left-hander. Throws one pitch, leaves, shoulder soreness.
Well, that just shows you how quickly things can change. I mean, you look at the American League in general. I mean, it was already set in stone that the A's and the Detroit Tigers were going to meet in the second round because they had the best pitching. They had the best starting pitching. They went out, made moves that gave them even better starting pitching. But the games have to be played on the field.
Hard to explain.
And
the Tigers, they get Price, and they have not played well. Now, is it because of David Price? Maybe not. A's get Lester. They have not played well. Is it because of the trade? Who knows? Can't figure out the game. So now 3-1 to Guzman. I want to meet the guy who thinks he can figure it out. Well, I don't think he exists. Well, there are a couple who think they can.
Yeah. Well, we're not held responsible.
Guzman takes inside, and it's a back-to-back walks here in the 7th inning. So 2 on, nobody out. So 4 walks, 8 strikeouts for Kazmir. 85 pitches. Bullpen is quiet right now, but the phone has just rang, and we'll see.
Now batting, number 22, Carlos Corcoran.
Dan Otero will not take him long to get loose. So Carlos Corcoran taking a very, very long look down to the third base coach, Pat Listash, former Milwaukee Brewer. So Corcoran, who knows, may not be a guy who bunts a lot. Got 1 sacrifice this year. But this certainly has all the makings of a sacrifice situation. These things so. Quarter infielders crashing, runners going, and it's fouled at the plate. How about that?
Well, that doesn't surprise me. You know, Tom Lawless was a grinder. He came up in the National League. He had an aggressive style of play, and as a manager, you can see early on that he's doing the same thing. Typically a bunt situation, he gets runners in movement. They're trying a little hit and run. Catch the A's off balance here. And the one thing that you expect out of a club that's young is for them to be fundamentally sound. At the major league level is so important, and I guarantee you that's something that they've really been paying a lot of attention to over there.
So we'll see what they do this time. Now you got the defense thinking a little bit. Bunt attempt this time, pulls the bat back. Pitch was high.
Look, when you look at a situation like that, for an infield, there are so many different bunt plays that are called, and a lot of times when the defense is going to give you an opportunity to bunt, does a good job of holding up there. A lot of times you'll put the will play on, and the third baseman will charge right away when the pitcher starts delivering the pitch, so you can just take the out. The A's can't do that because they've shown that they will swing.
Bunted in the air. Norris hustling back, and Norris makes a nice play. Right near the on-deck circle, Norris went into a slide, made a heck of a play for the first out.
Well, Derek Norris just continues to impress with the athleticism that he shows in that big body. One of the most difficult plays to make for a catcher, to take off at a full speed after a ball that's bunted at in the air. Normally a foul ball comes back to you, but in a bunt situation, that ball is running away from Norris. Knowing that wall is back there, that never slows Norris down at all, and he makes a tremendous play with the wherewithal, knowing that the guy at second base still has a chance to tag up and go to third.
So that's the first out. Here's Jonathan Villar, the shortstop. So now the corner infielders can relax, move back a little bit, trying to get a double play. Villar has struck out and he has singled. His single was the bunt. And Donaldson picked up but did not have the run. And now it's 2-0. Kazmir had one walk through the first 5 innings. He walked 1 in the 6th, 2 here in the 7th. Although the walk in the 6th was an intentional walk. Not close. 3-0. Top of the order, Grossman will be next.
Well, what we see now, Glenn, is Kazmir starting to missing up and away out of the zone. And normally when a pitcher's legs start getting tired and he can't finish his pitches off, that's normally an indication that he's getting a little tired.
3-0, misses off the plate, and that's the 3rd walk of the inning.
Scott Kazmir, who depends on pinpoint command and location, just can't find it right now.
And that's going to do it for Scott Kazmir. 6 1/3 innings so far, and that is going to be the final number. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts.
Of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So Scott Kazmir, 6 1/3, 92 pitches, did not allow a hit until the 6th inning. So the bases are loaded. Otero to face Grossman, and the first pitch is hit high in the air, plenty deep to right field. Reddick going back, still going back. He reaches up to make the catch. Risnick's going to trot home to score. Guzman goes to third, so Grossman a long sacrifice fly, and the Astros have a 3-1 lead. So I guess with any pitcher in that situation, the hitter, you're looking for something up, especially against Otero, who's a sinker ball guy. If you get something up early, you might as well take a rip at it, and that's what Grossman did.
You make a great point. I think you have to give a lot of credit to Grossman, especially early on in the count, knowing that Otero is especially trying to throw a pitch to get a double play ball. For him to recognize a pitch up in the zone and to be able to drive it out in right field to execute a sacrifice fly, that's a pretty good piece of hitting.
So 2 outs, runners at the corners. Here's Altuve. Big chopper. Lowry waits. He's got it. He'll go to second just in time. Side retired. So a run without a hit. There was 3 walks and a sacrifice fly. Astros 3, Athletics 1, as we have reached the 7th inning stretch. A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Play Flag Football. Register your child today at playflagfootball.com. Mount Diablo off in the distance. If Shooty would ever come out and visit me out there where I live, we could just climb Mount Diablo or something, a little exercise.
I'm waiting for the invitation, Glenn. You talk about flag football, Glenn. As a kid, I loved playing flag football.
Oh, yeah.
I encourage every family to sign their kids up and let them play. I mean, what a great way of bonding for kids. Safe.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Alex Presley in the game for defense. He's in left field. So Scott Feldman, he's got another run to work with. It's now 3-1, bottom of the 7th inning. Derek Norris steps in. Norris, Reddick, Lowry. Feldman had 79 pitches. And this one's lofted in the air. Right center. Fowler shading his eyes. He's got it. So 1 pitch, Norris is retired.
I don't know how much Dexter Fowler likes playing center field. Last night, today, nothing appears to be routine here. I don't know if he has a tough time picking up the ball here. But we know how tough of a struggle it can be at day games here at the Coliseum.
Feldman has retired 12 out of 13. The only base runner in that stretch was Coco's leadoff single in the 6th. So he's rolling along, and as we told you earlier, his last start was a 3-hit shutout against the Rangers. His second career shutout. Altuve slides to his right, straightens up, throws out Reddick, 2 outs.
The Oakland A's and Government X present Salute to Service Sundays this season. At each Sunday home game, veterans, active duty, and first responder personnel can purchase tickets at a discounted price. They will see $7 off Plaza level tickets and $5 off Plaza Reserve tickets to all Sunday home games. Visit athletics.com/military for more information and tickets.
Lowry takes a first pitch strike. Has not walked anybody. He has struck out 5. A big reason why his pitch count's pretty much under control. He's got the run into third. They loaded the bases. Lost with a sac fly, but then Donaldson hit into the double play. Swing and a miss.
Glenn, I think you said it best, under control. You look at Feldman, not a whole lot of effort in his delivery, repeatable, sustainable, understanding what he's doing, elevated when he needs to get a good hitter like Lowry to chase up in the zone there. That lets you know this guy has pretty good command of his stuff. When you look at Feldman, I mean, he doesn't even appear that he's busted a sweat today. And that's the toughest thing for a pitcher to do, is to become a pitcher. They're so bent on throwing the ball by guys and not trusting their stuff. But when you're a seasoned veteran like Feldman, you're pretty much under control.
Lowry down the right field line, just foul. Pitch, fastball outside. Both bullpens are quiet. Feldman has been in control, coming up on his 90th pitch. A little flare down the left field line, fair ball. So Lowry with a 2-out hit. Ball trickles away to the middle of the grass on the infield, but Lowry stays at first.
Lowry shows you from both sides of the plate that he's capable of fighting off all pitches here. Be able to pull his hands in and somewhat fillet one down the left field line. Have a tremendous amount of confidence in his ability to let the ball get down in the zone there to make sure that he can fight it no matter what it is. And a lot of times you're rewarded with a little Blute Johnson, if you will.
Here's Sam Fuld. Singled and scored in the 3rd, lined out in the 5th. And he tried to hold up, couldn't do it as Doug Eddings made the call himself, did not ask for an appeal.
Sam Fuld showing a little wrist strength, but he might have caught a break right there, Glenn.
Kind of a check swing, rolls into the dugout or towards the dugout. So that's a frustrating 2 pitches if you're Sam Fuld, because you think maybe you've held up on both of them and you end up getting a swing call in the 1st and just barely making contact on the 2nd. The 0-2 pitch, nice block by Corporate. Scrambles after it.
Corcoran's done a pretty good job behind the plate today, blocking curveballs in the dirt, because Feldman is really dependent on that pitch, but he does such a great job of softening that ball up, getting big back there, squeezing that chest protector.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Fuld is called out on strikes. 6 strikeout for Feldman. And we're moving to the 8th. It's the Astros 3 and the A's 1. powered by the Toyota Prius. Well, school's back in session, but it's Saturday, so the youngsters get out to the ballpark, which is always great. We're trying to put a happy face on. 3 more runs would make us pretty happy.
I don't know, Glenn. You know, I think I might want to go back and be a kid again. I saw that kid with the missing tooth down there. I hear the tooth fairy is giving up $5 to $10 per tooth these days.
It's not a quarter like we used to get.
Oh, man.
It's a good deal. Sogard throws out Fowler, and that's out number 1 here in the top of the 8th. So Dan Otero. A couple outs in the 7th. And now he'll face Chris Carter. Scott Feldman, 7 very good innings so far, and the bullpen is quiet. First 7 career starts at the O.Co Coliseum. Remember, he used to scuffle here big time when he was with the Rangers. Don't know if it was because he was coming back home to pitch. Sometimes that's the case. Or CC Sabathia really struggled early in his career when he used to come back here, but then that went away. But there could be something to it. Who knows?
You stole my thunder. I can recall CC having difficulties here.
So 1-1 the count to Carter, who has walked twice and grounded out. One of the walks was an intentional walk. And Carter, a line drive to right field, a base hit. Kind of a soft line drive, maybe got jammed a little bit. But good hitters do get jammed occasionally, right, Shooty? They wait a little longer.
Well, one thing that Carter has done by shortening up his swing is forfeiting a little power to become a better hitter. And you just can't go up there and hunt home runs all the time. You have to accept what the pitcher's going to give you and accept the results. And Chris Carter, being the smart kid that he is and transitioning to a pretty good hitter now, he's going to be really dangerous. He keeps improving in that area.
So here's Matt Dominguez. Reached on a fielder's choice and then has struck out twice. So Dominguez 0 for 7 in this series. Dominguez has yet to show the ability to hit for much of an average at the big league level. He does have some power. He got 15 home runs. But the batting average coming into today, 224. Last year, he hit 241, but he had 21 home runs. So the average has gone down this year. He knocked in 77 runs last year.
Well, so much has been talked about the celebrated draft in 2007 that gave you Mike Stanton, Freddie Freeman, Dominguez, and Josh Vitters were 2 highly touted third basemen. Vitters was a guy that the Cubs took, and this guy came with a lot of French pastries on his dish, but you're right, he has not hit for the average that they thought that he would.
That's right. He was the 12th overall pick in 2007 by the Marlins, and then traded to the Astros for Carlos Lee, and he strikes out for the 3rd time.
Well, they've sliced him up all different ways in this series this far, and one thing that I've seen with Dominguez, even when he's gotten fastballs right down the middle, it appeared that he was looking for breaking balls.
Well, the Astros struck out 12 times last night. They struck out 9 times today. But that's their deal. They have struck out the most of any team in the American League. This is Jake Marisnick, who is in a sac bunt, a strikeout, and then he walked and scored in the 7th. It was a big run. He led off the 7th with a walk, and he stole second base. And scored on Grossman's sacrifice fly. Soft line drive into the glove of Lowry. Side retired. A hit and a runner left. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It'll be Sogard, Crisp, and Moss. 3-1 Houston. Here's our game summary for today, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 3-4-1 for the Astros, 1-5-0 for the Athletics. Scott Feldman, 7 very good innings. He's back out there to start the 8th. Casimir left in the 7th. And his offense continues to struggle. He's with 3 runs on 7 hits last night. Just 1 run today. Josh Fields starts to loosen up.
Oakland, you just look for the Athletics to live up to their reputation. They have the flair for the dramatic. We've talked about them making sure that the other team earns every out. They're definitely going to have to live up to that today.
Sogard taking a strike, and it's 2-1. Guzman with a backhand. He was playing even with the bag, and Sogard is out. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And now Coco Crisp will hit.
Now batting, center fielder, number 4, Coco Crisp.
So Coco steps up. Couple of hits. Moss to follow. He's down by 2. Coco swings at the first pitch and pops it up into the tough side. VR, the shortstop. He grabs it. So 2 outs. So Gregerson starts to throw as Moss steps to the plate.
Brandon Moss.
So the first pitch to Moss, outside corner strike. Moss with that sacrifice fly driving in the A's only run. That was in the 3rd. Little flare to left. Presley on the move, and Presley caught it. Alex Presley made the catch. Bob Melvin's coming out. They may want to take a look at this.
Very, very, very close play. Grossman gets a real good jump on a ball that sliced down the left field line here, but I don't know if he really catches this ball here, Glenn. He got it.
I think he did. Yep.
Yes, he did.
I think he caught it.
Great play.
Certainly doesn't look like there's enough there to have any chance of him not catching it, getting it overturned. So nice play by Alex Presley, and we're through 8. 3-1 Houston. Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Discover RV in Lodi. Discover the discounts with our summer clearance event. Visit discoverrv.net. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. We got a new pitcher for the A's. It's Luke Gregerson. So Otero goes an inning and 2/3. And now Gregerson comes in for his 62nd appearance. So Gregerson to face Guzman. Gregerson's last appearance was on Wednesday. Days off, back in there today. In the hole, Lowry on the run. And a nice play by Jed Lowry.
Friday, September 19th is Star Wars Fireworks Night, presented by State Farm. Jedis from galaxies near and far are invited to attend, and fans are encouraged to dress as their favorite Star Wars character for this fun family event. Fans can meet Star Wars characters during the game, and everyone at the ballpark will enjoy post-game fireworks set to the music from Star Wars. Tickets are going fast, so visit athletics.com/fireworks.
Scared me a little bit.
I could see you in one of those Jedi outfits.
Yeah,
Glenn.
that's me.
The all-black one.
Halloween will be here before you know it. Corcoran grounds it to short. Lowry with a busy inning. So 2 quick outs here in the 9th inning. In the bottom of the 9th, it'll be Donaldson, Dunn, and Norris.
Now batting, number 2.
There is not much going on in that Astros bullpen. So Scott Feldman says, I want to try to make this one mine, and he's been very good today. So here's VR, the shortstop. Been on base twice, single walk, strikeout. He scored a run. Today, the bottom of the order has kind of gotten on base for the Astros. Altuve with the big double. Grossman with a sacrifice fly. Those are the 1-2 hitters. It was dangerous when the bottom of the order gets on base. Good pitch there by Gregerson.
Looking at Scott Feldman over in the dugout there, and the pitching coach talking to him. Had not the pitch count be a thing that they're keeping track of, you wouldn't even think about talking to Scott Feldman over there right now, because of the way that he's been dominating the A's offense. It wouldn't appear that you would even need to have anyone take their jackets off in the bullpen.
Nope.
I've had the luxury of spending time around the great Bill Singer, pitcher for the Dodgers, and talked about times when he's thrown 240 pitches, and he wanted to go out there for the next inning.
So a full count now to VR. Grossman in the on-deck circle.
And those guys, Glenn, they would virtually fight their manager to get back in the hit.
Payoff pitch. Here it is. And it's outside. It's a 2-out walk to Jonathan VR. So that's 6 walks issued by A's pitchers today, after not issuing any last night.
Well, here you have a team that leads the league in strikeouts. You think that it will be pretty difficult to walk them 6 times in a game because of their approach. But give them some credit. They've been able to lay off some pretty good pitches that have been made by the A's pitchers today.
So here's the top of the order, and Robbie Grossman, who's 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt and a sacrifice fly. It's not Grossman, my mistake. It's Alex Presley, who came in for defense. And Presley's first at bat comes here in the 9th inning. Pitch out, nothing going on. Presley, 250 the average with 5 home runs. Make a very nice catch to in the 8th inning. Now 2-0. The guy to get is this guy with Altuve. That Altuve guy waiting in the on-deck circle. He's almost as scary as Chris Carter in a different kind of way.
Well, you've seen him as many times as you want to in this game, because the last time he came up in a crucial situation, runners in scoring position, and made the A's pay.
Swing and a miss. And Gregerson gets the 2-0 swinging strike.
Gregerson, known for a great slider, also has a really good changeup, which really keeps the Astro hitters off balance, not being predictable as a reliever, because typically they are 2-pitch guys, but when you have 3 pitches, that only makes you equally dangerous.
Runner goes, pitches a ball, throw to second base is late. So VR has a stolen base. 15 steals on the year.
Once the A's pitched out on the first pitch, a lot of times you find out a guy's not going on a 1-0 count. You kind of fall asleep here. He picks a real good pitch to go, and Derek Norris somewhat tries to rush his throw to make up for the lack of ability to hold the runner on there. Therefore, his throw is offline. And Lowry does a great job of keeping that ball in the infield.
So that's 3 stolen bases today for the Astros, and they're still alive. Second most stolen bases in the American League this year. And now it's 3-2. So the crowd making some noise, and a good crowd today, 28,668. And they are just jonesing for something to cheer about.
I couldn't have said it any better, Glenn. Something to come up out of their seats.
A's have had a number of 9th inning comebacks against the Astros this year, and see if there's one of those out there today. Presley bounces one to first, and Moss takes it, side retired. So we're headed to the bottom of the 9th. A's need 2 to tie and 3 to go home. See if it happens.
Sportsnet California is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports, and by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
Well, time now for the Honda player of the game, Burlingame Scott Feldman. The Bay Area hometown native, unfortunately, he's on the wrong team today. Totally dominant, 8 innings pitched, 5 hits given up, only 1 run, struck out 6 guys, and yes, he gave up no free passes. The A's, unfortunately, have not been able to earn anything but 1 run off the stingy Feldman.
And that one was unearned. So here's Donaldson. 4 career complete games for Feldman, but 2 in his last 6 starts. How about that? 102 pitches as he faces Donaldson. And a quick 0-2. We're just painting the outside corner. Dunn to follow, and then Norris. 3-1, the Astros lead.
What's been impressive about Feldman today is the strikes that he's thrown have been quality strikes.
Setting up outside again, and a breaking ball. That breaking ball was right about where Corcoran wanted it.
And that's what I mean. When you apply a pitch and throw it where you want to, and hitters make contact, normally you get the results that you want. And when you have the command that Feldman has shown today, the results are typically bad for the hitters.
Another big curveball, 2-2 to Donaldson. Donaldson has hit a fly ball to right. He has hit into a double play, and he has grounded out. So 0 for 3. There's a shot under the glove of Guzman, and Donaldson's going to be aboard. So a leadoff single. And now Adam Dunn's coming up.
Well, what you saw Donaldson do here is what needs to become infectious throughout this whole lineup. Letting the ball get a little deep, hitting the ball the other way, not trying to force the action, and letting the next guy come up and do some damage. You would just hope that big Adam Dunn has caught a big case of some clobberism right now.
A good time for it. 0 for 3 is done. First pitch is inside. Norris to follow. After Norris, it would be Reddick. Dunn drives one towards center field. Followed to his left into right center. He's got it. So Adam Dunn is 0 for 4. And that's the first out here in the 9th inning. 108 pitches for Feldman.
Now batting for catcher.
His season high is 117. He's also had 116. His last start, which was that 3-hit shutout, he threw 150. Pitch to Norris. Outside, not by much. Norris is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts and a fly ball to center field.
Well, Glenn, with those high pitch counts in mind, this is where Feldman is most vulnerable here. If you're going to get him, this is where your chances are.
Short lead for Donaldson at first. And then let's foul back.
As good as his breaking ball has been today, there's a little fatigue in Feldman as well. He's got to be very careful here that he doesn't make a mistake and hang one of those breaking balls that he's been able to throw in the dirt all day. And a lot of times when a pitcher's leg gets tired, that curveball that's normally 12 to tick to 6, somewhat becomes a cast type curveball. The A's are looking for one of those right now.
Just missed outside. Qualls is ready. He's just standing on the bullpen mound at this point. Steps back in. Feldman is staying right on the rubber. He's ready. It's hot now. 3-1. Feldman's going to go for a little walk behind the mound, knowing the importance of this pitch. Pitch, good swing by Norris. Looks like he saw the pitch, saw the location, had a good swing, just fouled it back. So now a full count.
Ball up here. Norris right on this pitch here. Just can't get on top of it.
Pitch number 114, and here it comes. It's hit down the right field line, well fouled, just past the dugout.
You notice that Feldman had been having success against the A's hitters early on with that breaking ball down in the zone. Right now he's having a tough time getting it down, trying to finish Norris off here.
2 pitches, roll foul. Battle continues, and it's a good one. Norris and Feldman with the game on the line. Outfield straight away, and really deep and left. Regular in center, and a little bit of shallow is Marisnik in right. Is guarding the line at third. Here's the pitch. The middle, base hit center field. And Donaldson's going to try for third, and he'll make it. And the A's have first and third, 1 out here in the bottom of the ninth. Back up on that bat for Derek Norris. Stayed in the middle of the field.
Great at bat by Derek Norris, understanding that he had seen everything that Scott Feldman had to offer, not intimidated by anything that he could throw up there. Looks up the middle, stays up the middle, drives the ball up the middle. Big time hit for Derek Norris right now. That's the end of Scott Feldman's day for sure.
So Billy Burns is going to run for Norris. And we are going to get a pitch change. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. So Feldman out, Qualls coming in.
photo giveaway. Commemorate the 2014 season with your own team photo. Presented by Kingsford Capital Management. On Sunday, September 21st, at the A's vs. Phillies game, 10,000 fans will go home with 2014 team photo. A perfect souvenir for collecting autographs. So for more information and tickets, head to athletics.com/tickets.
Scott Feldman, 8 1/3, very good innings. Could not finish it. 116 pitches. No walk, 6 strikeouts. So he leaves with runners at first and third. 1 out. Reddick, the hitter, Qualls in, looking for his 18th save. First pitch to Reddick is fouled to the backstop. So Qualls has 4 blown saves. 3 of those have been to the Athletics. They beat him right here at the Coliseum. So Reddick trying to be a hero. Donaldson at third. Burns the pinch runner at first. Quick throw to first. Burns is back. And Burns just a terrific base stealer. So a lot of options here for Bob Melvin. Would he send Burns? A 1-1 to Reddick. Thought about running that one in the air to center. Fowler going back. He's still going back. And it is off the wall. And this game's going to be tied. And Reddick with a double. Qualls gives it up again to the A's. And now they have a chance to win it here in the bottom of the ninth.
Glenn, you've got to love the aggressive approach by Reddick. First pitch, he was swinging for the downs. He gets another fastball right down the middle of the plate, and he doesn't miss it. One thing about Billy Burns, what he does right away, it puts a whole lot on the pitcher's mind, knowing that he's capable of stealing the base, and what did he do? Throw that right down the middle of the plate, and Josh Reddick makes him pay.
So here's Lowry with a chance to win it. And Lowry fouls it straight back. So the 4th blown save that the A's have hung on Chad Qualls this year. That's all part of it right there. 27th 9th inning run the A's have scored against the Astros this year. And this is game number 18. Lowry 1 for 3. In there for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Well, Glenn, I know one thing. As well as Scott Feldman pitch, the one at bat he's going to remember about this game is the great one that Derek Brewers had.
No question about it. Oh, 2 pitch. Down the left field line, Presley on the move, but it's going to drop foul.
You just can't discount the fact of what base stealers do for a pitcher. They mess with his head, and all it does is make him make a mistake. And Reddick is such a great mistake hitter, such a real good fastball hitter. This ball is driven very deeply into center field. It had Dexter Fowler twisting and turning out in center field, and before you know it, the A's had tied this game up.
Another 0-2 pitch. Here it is. Bounce into the hole, base hit. Here comes Presley. They're waving Reddick home. The throw is late, and the A's have won it. Maybe just what they needed, Shooty. Maybe just what the A's needed. A walk-off against the Astros.
Well, I talked about it time and time again. This is a team that will make you earn every one of the 27 outs that you are going to give them. They do not quit. Understanding the magnitude of a game like this, you've got some of the hitters that came up in this inning that have been big for you all year long. How appropriate for one of your best hitters last year to come up for you big in a game when you need them most. Jed Lowry just showing great ability to hit the ball the other way, not trying to do too much with a fastball that's up and away, drives it through the hole, and give my guy Ego a tremendous amount of credit. Understanding the lack of arm strength by the left fielder here, waving all the way. I mean, the runner had not even gotten to the bag yet, and he is waving all the way. Reddick comes in with a great slide away from the plate. He was going no matter what. I don't think if Gags would have tried to tackle him down there, he would have stopped. But Reddick, great slide, gets in there right underneath the tag. Boy, oh boy, you're talking about if you go to the doctor and you need some medicine, he would have told the A's a big-time hit in the ninth inning would be good for you. Well, guess what? They're feeling real good right now, Glenn.
So Lowry's second hit of the game is a game winner. So the A's score 3 in the bottom of the ninth against Chad Qualls. They've done it to him now 4 times this year. And you think about that, 4 blown saves, 1 closer against the same team in 1 year. That's pretty amazing.
Well, when someone has your number, they have your number. And one thing Scott Feldman probably was a little leery of, knowing that if he didn't get Norris out, that it would be turned over to the bullpen. Unfortunately for him, he pitched great, but he just couldn't get the job done, and the A's made him pay the price for that.
All right, so Reddick, the 2-run double ties it, and then Jed Lowry with the base hit to win it, and Jed is standing by downstairs. And Jed, certainly a huge win. We don't want to make too much of it, but is this the kind of win that can maybe get this team rolling again?
Yeah, you know, you look for that that high energy moment, and you know, walk-off is certainly a good place to start.
Jed, you know, coming up in a situation like that, a lot of guys don't want to be up in a situation when the game is on the line, but you've been a guy that's always thrived in that role. How does it feel to be the guy in that situation today?
It's always good to send the guys home with a win. So, you know, obviously that's a situation that I'm just trying to get a good pitch. He got ahead of me early 0-2. And
Jed?
Yeah, I think I'm going to make it.
I guess it's the price you pay for being a hero here at the Coliseum.
Yeah, you know, it's well worth it.
All right, let's get to Chad Qualls. He has struggled against the A's this year. Sinker ball guy, no question about it. Is it just as simple as looking for a ball a little bit up from this guy? Because the ball that Reddick was up, and it looked like the pitch that you hit was a little bit up as well.
Yeah, I mean, you do. You got to look for a pitch up because, you know, his bread and butter is to keep that ball low and get ground balls. And, you know, I was able to find a hole right there and come through.
Tough time for the A's over the past couple of weeks, Jed. You're a veteran in this league. You've got some young players on this club. As a leader-type player, where do you go to these A's hitters and tell them how to be patient because you know it's going to come through for them just like it did today?
Yeah, I mean, we just need to maintain a good approach, you know, especially knowing situations and, you know, especially like this where we've had success against their bullpen and a starter who is throwing as well as he was. To get him out of the game is probably the most important thing we did today.
All right, Jed, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on the game-winning.
All right, guys, thanks.
All right, so Jed Lowry caps off the 3-run rally in the 9th inning, and maybe it is just what the A's need. They've been struggling, and they haven't had a moment like this in a while, but they get one today against the Astros, who have played them tough this year. But again, they walk off against the Astros. So hopefully this is the start of something big for the A's.
Yeah, Glenn, they've been struggling a little bit. But the one thing that can be said, even though they've been losing more games than you would think that they would, they've always been in the game. They've always had a chance. And when you come through in a situation like this, I think this is monumental for a club that has been struggling, that has not been able to come up with one more hit to get the job done. Perfect recipe for the A's.
And we talked to Lowry. Let's not forget about the Reddick at bat. Again, Qualls is thinking, hey, if I get a hard ground ball here, the game is over. But Reddick put a good swing on a pitch that was up. He drives it to center field. So 2 terrific at-bats. Norris at-bat was terrific in the 9th inning. So what was nice to see is obviously the 3 runs, but some very, very good A's at-bats, kind of at-bats we saw the first 4.5 months of the season in that 9th inning.
Yeah, and it puts a whole different face on tomorrow's game. The worst case scenario coming in here 0-2 tomorrow, knowing that you have to win. Now tomorrow you feel like we're going to win, and that's a great position for the A's to be in.
let's not forget the Derek Norris at bat. Maybe the best at bat of the 9th inning when he got the base hit to put runners at first and third. So terrific moment. Jed Lowry is your hero as he knocks in the winning run. That's Reddick. And the A's score 3 in the 9th, and they win it by a final score of 4-3 in walk-off fashion. You've been watching A's Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Brody and Bibb starts right now.